Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Welcome back to PCM23 Lions. This is episode 63. The last couple of stages of this race have resulted in breakaway victories. Unlikely breakaway victories. Weak teams, but somehow still winning, and by minutes. So to combat that, really the best thing to do is not to be trying to be the one chasing that breakaway. It's put somebody in the breakaway. The way that AI is handled, when you have someone in the breakaway, the frequency of the win is far less. But as we go for the top of this one, these guys are looking like they might be trying to attack for the KOM points. So we're going to have to put in quite a bit more effort here to kind of keep pace with them. 700 meters. Let's go ahead and attack as that other rider's getting dropped, and we certainly do not want to be getting dropped here. Yeah, there you go. It's all still together. Only 245 and only 2 climbs on this third stage out of 5. It's all punchy stages here. And we need a top 5 for the overall. It's not a insignificant sponsor objective, this one. It's definitely a little bit up there in size. The entirety of the team has expected +2s, but we very much did not get that. Not on the whole, but I do think it nearly averaged out at just 3 players with decent decent race day conditions for the day. Breakaways down to 8. The others have sat up significantly, really. I guess my push on did not help our case too much, but it actually led to the peloton splitting, because our tempo has increased their tempo, which has split the field. Interesting that I've managed to do that. All 9 now still together and 3 minutes ahead with only 1 climb to go. Gonna give them a slight chance. Let's put a 91. That's fine. Mansour's got a +5, so he's one of the 3 guys overall. Not the greatest of climbers, but with that +5, he's looking pretty solid today. And we begin the final climb. It does finish with a sprint, but we have no sprinters here, so it's hard to actually claim something. 4K to go. Getting a little blinking red on the base of the climb. They haven't even really properly started. Mosa is already done. Bari. Haptam. Let's go and get those guys gelled up. Let's get Mansour gelled up. Down to 7 here. Mansour is going to get dropped. 1K from the top. They're down to 4 riders now. The good news is on that is that means there's not much firepower left in the group. And then we could just count on Mansour kind of coming back to the group. Let's put him on auto. Ignore him now. Bari, Musa have already been dropped. We're down to 4. Still 53 here in the peloton. It hasn't shrunk by much. Already over the top. I'm trying to recover position, but we have 3 guys for the final sprint. And Mansour now just a minute ahead, so he'll be coming back, and he's already recovering. So we'll have 4 guys. 5 if Haptam gets a little bit of recovery in on the descent. That should be a pretty good setup for a decent chance at a sprint, but we're still 2 minutes behind those front, presumably 4 guys. And there you go. There is Mansour back in the group. 15K. 6 riders at the front as it comes back together a little bit. And what's going on? It's 2 minutes away, and we are not chasing. I put somebody in the break. The same thing that's happened on the previous 2 stages looks like it's happening again. Gap's opening. Nobody's chasing. But this time, our guy who was in the break was too weak to stay in the break. And so no change to the scenario, except that we're still not there. So we're going to start chasing here. 13K out is a bit far, but we don't have much choice. I mean, there's a bunch of guys on the attack there, and they're going to leave us behind if we don't do something. 11K. So this is now about control and about trying to catch that front group that somehow went full gas and got right down to the end. Still has enough to go full gas to the finish. Clearly stronger than what we were bringing. Gap's coming down, but it's looking a bit too late. All right, 7K. Let's start pushing. We're down to one rider left off the front. 6K onto a shimway. The mouse is having trouble right now. Gosh. We're going 99, but not getting anywhere, which means we're not gaining on those guys. 3K. Shimway with a soft sprint. 2K, that's a little early, but this climb could put us into a good position. There's another little hill. Breakaway has won. Again. De Villiers would otherwise be winning this thing with a gap. The 6 riders who hung on to the break hung on for the top 6 positions. This has just been a very strange race. I put someone in the break. They always catch it when you have someone in the break. Not today, not this race. This Valenciana has been a very strange race. We'll try to get someone in the break again. Mansour gets 17th, by the way. But De Villiers, best of the rest, would have won the stage if not for the breakaway. De Villiers wins by multiple bike lengths, but does not get separation. Always seems to be the case with that one. But the field is thinning. There are riders that lost time. So those guys who got up front today did not have a significant position. Germani, left over as one of those breakaway riders, is still at the front. But Martinez, Vadapol, Ayuso, Almeida are all key guys. These other 3, I think, were all breakaway riders. I don't believe they actually hung on. They might. No, they did. They did. Look at those ratings. But then we're best of the rest now. De Villiers, Van der Poel, 9th and 10th. Henoch, Shimway, 11th, 12th. It's good for placement. It's not a terrible result when we need a top 5 if we're only scoring a top 10. But right now it still seems entirely possible. I mean, we just need to gain 7 seconds to move into 4th. Early phase of stage 4. And the breakaway's already got a 6-minute advantage with just 11 riders. Or with 11 riders. I mean, not a small quantity, a decent amount of riders here. I have a feeling they're going to be able to stay away on a stage such as this already. Things just getting started. 136K to go. We'll see if the peloton finally keeps a breakaway in check. But Barry's that guy today. We're already on the 2nd climb of the day. A lot of back-to-backs in the early stage of this. And in the peloton, as they get dropped once again over the top of the climb, and then luckily there's somebody else with us and we just follow them back in contact. Gap back out to nearly 6 minutes. Definitely a little closer than it was. Peloton riding a bit harder than before, but looking at the heart rate, our guys are not working terribly hard. 140s, 150s on the climb. Nothing too bad on that heart rate. It's not going to do too much damage to them. Still climbing even though we're done with the categorized climbs for a while. Get water. And we'll send Musa to do the same shortly, but we don't want to be still climbing. It takes a lot out of you to try to get water while climbing, but as we approach the top, go ahead and do that now. Peloton fully intact. 147 riders there. Gap down to 440, so today it's definitely being kept in check a lot better. It didn't start that way. But it's definitely under a sense of control right now. Be downhill for a while. Inside 100K. One more big climb besides the finishing climb. I like how we're going to finish on a climb this time. Definitely can lead to splits in the field. Can lead to breakaway riders who are in the top 10. There's 4 of them or something like that. Could easily see those guys lose some time. I guess at least a couple of those lose some time today, but there's a lot of big names in that top 10, and we did notice that a few of those guys who were towards the tail end of the top 10, they're no slouch. They're not weak riders. So it's really just that guy at the top of the standings. Oh, this is the finishing climb. Okay. Because there was an intermediate sprint there, and there's an intermediate sprint on the way towards the finish next time we come through there. So we are going to hit this loop another time. So we're going to get a little preview of the climb. Yeah, there's 5K to the finish. So right now we are 6K still. So it's about 7. So about 2K shy of the top of this climb is where the finish line is going to be. And it looks like Bari is about to get dropped. First guy losing contact. Just inside 1K from what the finish line is actually going to look like. We'll get back to that in just a second. Let's up that effort. Okay, there is that finish line. But for now, we still climb on for another 2.5K. Still a significant gap, though. It's still 5 minutes there at the top with 61K to go. Put him on auto. We'll see him back in the group soon. Musa is dropped. 84 left in the peloton. Flat from here. If we had the recovery, I would send one of these guys to get water, but we do not have the recovery we need right now. In fact, Haptem and Mansour both looking like more riders are headed out the back. It is. It's thinning. We're down to 47. Haptem has been dropped. Bari is back in the group. He's been caught. Mansour has been dropped. Bari now the only one left to finish, and we're past that point. We need to get water. Do we want Hanok to do it or Shimway? Let's not waste Shimway's energy. I'd like to have those 3 guys all well placed. Of course, the biggest thing is trying to crack the top 5, so we will sacrifice 4 de Villiers, all else fails, but Hanok easily could end up being the guy, as he's a bit better on the medium mountain, and this does feel more like a medium mountain than a hills type scenario on this final one. And here we go again. There was 11 in the break. It's dropped to 7, but they have a 3-minute advantage with 30K to go. Are they going to be caught? Or are we going to see literally 4 for 4 breakaway victories? This isn't even, it's not a World Tour race. All right, 15K to go. Bari has been dropped. We're down to 41. We're still chasing those 7. They still have a 220 advantage. It's barely come down over the last 15 kilometers. And we are going to begin climbing the final time, though we still have the intermediate sprint coming up shortly. Shimway is going to protect de Villiers. Hanok is going to follow de Villiers and de Villiers. We're going to definitely get you into the hills type rating, as that's much higher for you. 39 chasing 7. 10K to go. We are going to have to put our foot down and sprint train this thing here at some point. 3 guys have broken off from the other 4, put themselves in a stronger position. 6K. Okay, let's... Hey, what happened? That was not what was assigned to you. That is gel. Okay, here we go. It's on. Favorites are making their move. I think we'll try a 95. Seems to be the best of the ratings, other than Hanok. Hanok following will at least put in less than a 95 effort, hopefully. Put him more on that medium mountain rating. 6 riders going strong here. Trying to make an attack, failing to do so. Okay, now 99. 3K. Small splits. Okay, Shimway, just give me a little bit more before we get on to Hanok. Hanok. Give me that medium mountain magic. that you have. Breakaway's going to win it again. Fourth flipping time in a row. It's Backart this time. 700 meters to Villiers and Oak. Both sprinting, not having any red bar, but being with the group. Ayuso, Uchabrook should get a little extra time. Aguirre, Batistella. Oh, okay placement. 3 breakaway riders. And then it's the group. So this time only 8th, 12th. Not a great result, but Danny Martinez was 12th. Almeida was 14th. But De Villiers was only 15th, so Tenoka was 11th. And of course, this time, even though it's still just a punchy stage, there's separation no bigger than the separation on the last stage, but the gaps are given on this stage. Never fails to do it that way when you pull the gap. And you know what? No, I'm exaggerating. It does fail to do that. Like, there are times we're on the right side of this. More often than not, we're on the wrong side of this. De Villiers did not have separation to Almeida, but he loses time, additional time. Henoch gains time, though, but not the result we would have hoped for. The result really starts at 2:03, though, because those are some breakaway guys that hopefully had previously lost a couple of minutes or more, or more than 2.5, really. But there are some key guys behind us that were ahead of us, so this could be a shakeup. It is a shakeup. Venipal moves into the race lead with Martinez now second. Ayuso now third. That's your podium. Almeida did not lose significant time. He is fourth. He actually moved up a spot. Paulus moved up. De Villiers moves to sixth, 38 seconds down. Henoch moves into 7th, 41 seconds down. And Ashimwe falls to 14th after a bad negative race day condition and having to serve as lead-out rider. 1 spot out of the top 5, but we do need to gain more than 12 seconds. And now we're looking at 5 guys ahead of us that all look strong. Germani, who was the leader, down to 11th, 52 seconds down. But it's those guys behind us that aren't the big threats. It's the guys that are ahead. So I don't see us being in a position to gain much time. So really our result is the same it was looking, other than our points are a little bit higher now, thanks to placement. And actually that's going to do it. This 5th stage is a sprint. It's a sprint. It's not going to change the order at all. So we'll take the quick sim, and that is going to be a 6th and 7th place finish. It's okay for points. It's not very good for that sponsor confidence. We've got plenty of times and methods to make up the difference. I'm not too worried about it, but it's a little disappointing. That was a tough field, and it was tough to get separation. And the circumstances of 4 breakaways and 4 breakaway victories, and me adapting and putting 2 decent riders into 2 breakaways and still getting beat handily there. It's a strange one, but it has just about worked out. The cream did rise to the top as the race was made pretty challenging. And, you can see we're still on the edge of that 86, 96. That does not affect race day condition, though. It will affect the attributes less so when it's mid-80s. It's just a minor hit. But we're still building up for the season. We did take a 1-2 in the under 25s at least, and we were second in the team. As if it hadn't been confirmed in one form or another previously, a 1 pro race, the GPD Almeria, has been won by the Israeli Aviv Bental. A sprinter has won this race. It's 1 pro. I don't know what their training rating is, but Israel was a 2-point popularity nation. I've won a 1 pro race with a 3. I've won a 1 pro race with a 2 popularity nation. I've won a 1 pro race with a 1 popularity nation, with none of them gaining a point. So, confirmation that there is a chance. It's not a given, but there's a chance. Frustrating that it's not slam dunk, that there's no just set number that you win any race with one popularity nation and you're going to get a boost, or any pro race like continental or better, because there are the youth races. Or if you're a 2 popularity nation, it takes a 1 pro or better, or a 3 popularity, 1 pro or better, or 4 popularity, it takes world tour or better. Like, there should just be a simple bottom line. And then, of course, for the higher levels, it's if your popularity is 8, 9, or 10, then I could see it being a chance. It's odds. And it takes something incredible for, like, win GC at the Tour de France. Is a little bit higher odds than win GC at the other 2 Grand Tours. But in general, putting it down to some sort of roll of the dice, it's frustrating because we've rolled the dice. We've rolled the right thing on the dice many times, and we've gained 3 points total, and 2 of those points were Benyam Girmay. We've only boosted 1 point this whole series so far. By the way, if you saw the message about relationships being strained, I have resolved that, and here's just a look for the first time in quite some time as to how those relationships are doing, and they're not all perfect, including with Samuels, who still has a little bit of growth potential on his web. It's very little. He's down to modern as a result, but there's only one modern trainer from all of Africa, so we have no one to replace this guy with. So there's a couple riders that have, and he's low level, so there's a few riders that have had their struggles with him. And then we do have also Mullabron, who has no relationship with the only traditional one. At least for groundbreaking, there are 3. I literally have all 5 African trainers in the game, and there wasn't 5 initially. I think I did include actually one more, who is the expensive guy that we can't yet afford, though our cash is looking pretty good right now. But I think there are some options to step up on trainer, but only on the groundbreaking. Nothing on the modern, nothing on the traditional to boost us there. But by now we know the style of most of our riders. And then of course possibly our best overall, certainly all around prospect in Bari is the only rider right now who is not 3 stars or better. Next on the docket is the route of Oman, another top 5 overall objective, and we're already on to stage 4. We're going to start it here in just a moment. We have a finishing climb, 7.1k, roughly 10%, max of roughly 13%, plus a punchy and interesting. I like this stage. I've always enjoyed this stage. Kind of liked one of the older versions of it a few years, a little more simplistic. It's been redone, probably more realistic now than what it was. It's a little harder to get separation on it than it used to be, but that's a fun stage too. But it just finishes on the flat after 12Ks later. But these 2 stages are all we need to navigate for the Route of Oman and our quest for a top 5. So far, 0 breakaway wins. So normal racing in this one thus far. 16K to go in this one. We have a sprint point and 5K. The climb is going to start shortly after that. It's 10K climb. So, we're getting pretty close to it. Going to get a little push from sprinters here, as the breakaway had already been caught setting things up for the climb itself. Now 9K, so no, it's not quite that long. What is it? Here we go. 7K is what it was. And we're on to the climb. So far set at an 85, and it instantly hurts the 3 domestiques. Let's go ahead and gel up for those 3 so they can hang on a little bit longer, as we are definitely getting some acceleration. And we're going to have to push beyond the 85 if we want to hold our position and be set for the climb. So yeah, now pushing a 90 with 6K to go. Havu, Musa, Mansour. Terrible draw. The expected race day condition today from the team is a plus 12. We've got a 0. With 0 net race day condition. How in the world that has happened? We've had a minus 12 draw today. I don't know. That's rough. Havu gets dropped just because the pace was too much for him. He was on domestique duties. He didn't run out of energy. Let's protect Bari. And let's gel up for Bari. Hanok and Samuels are up there. Hanok, go ahead and protect Samuels. He is definitely our guy today, and there is definitely a split, and we are at the front end of that split. But let's go ahead and do something with these 4. And then Mansour. Oh, come on. His mouse is wonky today. There was an update, and I think the update is the cause of this. I don't think there's anything wrong with my mouse. Musa, just go. There you go. Yeah, front 8 already getting separation. Hanok. Oh, now it's a front 3. Now it's a front, dang, 7. Going all over the place. Big old splits, 2K. Mansour. De Villiers, you got 2K to go. You are such a puncher, so just do your punchiest. Hanok gets dropped again. 1K to go for him. Just give me your all. Samuels. Gel, 900 meters. Let's just sprint it out with that yellow bar all the way to the finish line. Looks like we're headed for a top 3 today, but it looks like Felix Gall. Felix is going to take the win. Can we overtake Neutz? Not quite. He's definitely a stronger rider, stronger attributes, but it's a top 3. That's going to set us up well for the top 5 that we were looking for. And Hanok is very well placed. That's going to add a lot of points as well. We're looking at a 6th place for Hanok. And De Villiers also fairly well placed, though. There's a big group of riders there. 2 teams with 6 of the 7 guys that are right there. It's going to be a 17th for De Villiers. Lots of separation. Again and again, we're talking about a minute and a half separating these groups. I actually thought the gap was quite a bit bigger. I thought I saw 3 minutes just after De Villiers crossed the line, but 3 minutes puts you way back here at Bari. All right, here we go, folks. The climb is ahead of us. It's stage 5. It's this one hill. We go over it, turn around, come back over it on this other side of the road to our left here, and then turn around and go back over it this way a second time. So over the hill 3 times in total, 2 times one direction, 1 time the other direction, and then instead of turning around at the opposite side, you then go straight on to the finish line, turning another direction. First time up the climb, nothing doing. I mean, it's still 40K from the finish. I do suspect, though, by the second time, circumstances are going to be a bit different. Now, Breakaway still has a substantial gap, but there was only 4 riders, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4 separate groups, meaning they are all solo off the front, and we are already pulling back 2 of them closely. So there's 1 or 2 guys left out there that have to go solo for like 40K, and that's just not going to work. Meanwhile, Peloton, it's yo-yoing a lot. It is yo-yoing a lot here, but there's a lot of riders that missed out. Hamilton goes down in a crash. Oh, but Samuels and Havu got caught the wrong side of that as well. As the field split thanks to the crash, our highest placed guy ends up on the wrong side of this thing. Okay, let's make sure everyone is now rolling up better to hold their position this second time up the climb. We're back to, okay, my goal, my mission on this one is to get to the front before the base of the 3rd climb and use that 3rd climb to push hard, split the field, and see us go solo. You can see with how skinny it is, how easy that is to happen, but there's such a gap between the reverse side of this climb and coming back over the front. and you're still 27k from the finish, then it's easy to lose the race here, but you can't win the race from here. I mean, you know, unless you're Wild Fan Art, which we're not. Musa gets dropped. We've got a small split there, but it's coming back together, and Musa needs to get back to protecting. Oh no, he was the solo guy. He just needs to get back in position. No wonder he was the one who got dropped. He's not protecting. He's not going deep to protect. For now, we got 60 riders though, as it starts to yo-yo again. But as we turn around and head back, now it's time. Let's maybe set a 95 here. De Villiers, he's 18th overall. It's Samuels we need to set up on this one. Who was our other? It's Hanouk. Okay, so we'll set up Samuels, Hanouk, De Villiers to lead them out, and Musa. Much better race day condition draw today. I haven't done the exact math on it, but it looks right about where we're supposed to be with a plus 12. Everyone but Havu is expected to have a plus 2, as they all had the objective. Havu, a replacement for an injured rider, because, you know, we have lots of those. All right, as we hit the base, Mansour has gotten us out front, and we're going to go right on to Havu. No waiting around for months. Damn it. I'm not going to mess with trying to put guys to the back end here. We're just going to have to go one after another. 14k. Okay, Havu's done. On to Bari. And we've split the field down to 15. 99. And sprint. Use that last little bit of energy, Bari. Down to 13. Now, I can't just go full gas and split the last little bit. We've got to have a little bit left in the tank. Why? Because there's still 12k to go. Musa, De Villiers. And we've got to have our 3... Damn. This game and its whole like, oh, you just went through a sprint point. We're going to reset everything. Havu. Gel. Or not gel, but Auto. Musa is out front. So Musa, try to follow. Bari is also there, so try to follow if I can get it to work. There it goes. And how is the field back together when we were literally down to just a few riders? That makes no sense. Now it's back to 11 or 22. Either way, that yo-yo is looking much more favorable to something that can be favorable to us. And how are we looking on the sprint side of this? Samuels is the guy we want to lead out, so De Villiers doing the work for now. Split it down to 12. I'm going to alternate between De Villiers and Hanouk. Down to 9. De Villiers tucking in behind Hanouk. Hanouk keeping the pressure on. 30 seconds to those behind us. 3K. Okay, 99. 2.5. Hanouk sprinting. De Villiers soft sprinting, I guess. And Samuels. Oh man, is that Gall? That's Gall going for it. Oh, we're coming back at Gall. Can we get a top 3 though? We are looking poised to get a top 3. We're gonna get more than a top 3. It's a win. Samuels for the win over only. Augustine, Neutz, Gall, De Villiers, Hanouk, Bowden, gaps 40 something seconds to the following pack. We got our top 5, folks. That's for sure. What do we have? Are we winning this thing? I think Gall gained a little time on that previous stage, and he was 5th here. So this might be like a 2nd place. How much did he gain? Did he gain? I think he gained. He did gain on that previous stage. So is it 2nd place? Is it not? There was separation on that previous stage, but 1st, 6th, 7th, 12th, 18th, plenty of riders going to be well placed. We're going to get some points. We're going to have a happy sponsor finally. First time this season. 3rd minor objective, 4th overall, the fourth one was even less so, like 1 star. So 4 minor objectives so far in the season, none of them major, but this is a big one. No time gap in the front 7. Of course, it's not going to give that to me, but 18, 30, 38, that comes up pretty quick. So Felix Gall did have separation on the previous one, does hang on to the lead. 9 seconds to Samuels in second. Neutz only. Hanoch is 5th. De Villiers is 10th. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with a 2-5-10. And with the final stage being a sprint one, that will lock in. But before I can do so, we've got the start of Andalusia and Algarve. So a couple 2 pro, 2.5, 3-star objectives. So now we're finally entering the bigger stuff. Oman was a 2-star. It was the biggest objective we've had so far. Now we're pushing to 2.5 and 3. So it's starting to ramp up, starting to get a little bit bigger. It's already middle of February, and all the teams started between at 80 and 90%. And only a few riders have broke 90 so far, even though we've been racing. And even though I set early objectives to get us in position for Algarve Andalusia UAE Trophy, to have their fitness peaks by that point, none of them are there yet, still. Even though it's weeks after their first objective. Maybe by UAE we'll have some guys hitting their objectives. I hope they do. But in the meantime, we've really missed out on that. And I still don't have the sponsor confidence boost yet from Oman because there's 1 stage to go. But that's absolutely going to head much closer to the right direction. Not terribly high, though. I mean, it's going to be a super success, sure. And it's 2-star, bigger than the previous 3, but it's 1 out of 4. It's only going to go so high for us in the short term, but I do think it's going to maybe get into the green anyway. That is going to do it for this episode, though. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there, and bye for now.